Hi, it's Micki with Cat and Mouse Astrology on the new moon in Scorpio, November 2024. This is a quick video. Cat can't be with me today. We're going to take a look at this moon and take it apart a little bit pretty fast. Let me share my screen with you. So, again, this is 9 degrees of Scorpio, this new moon. And there's been a lot of talk about it, but keep in mind that a new moon or a full moon or any astrological configuration gives us the weather, but it doesn't tell us our actions because we have free will, and so does everybody else. So astrology isn't predictive. Again, it's something that we can utilize as a tool so that we can navigate the weather of the world, our emotions, our thinking, and other people's more effectively. So here we have 9 degrees Scorpio new moon. This heralds what's coming over both the next couple of weeks and into the future about 6 months. There are some major configurations with this new moon heralding real transformation and real change. So let's take this apart. The new moon in Scorpio is trine Saturn in Pisces, indicating that this new beginning is off to a structured start. Meditate on Saturn keywords such as persistence, strength, stamina, and structure. Mercury, Neptune, and Mars are trine, indicating an ease in confused, angry communication. Remember to breathe. Mars opposes Pluto. This may trigger inflammatory, deep-seated issues, physically, emotionally, mentally, in your relationship with others, in your relationship with yourself. Venus squares Saturn and opposes Jupiter. This may reflect that your grandiose desires require pruning and structure. And Jupiter sextiles Chiron, showing the way forward. Look to your Aries house. Which house is Aries for you? First, second, third? That makes a difference. And the healing energy with Chiron and Aries, this may provide some relief. So the Sabian symbol of 9 Scorpio is a dentist at work. I don't know about you, but I don't really like going to the dentist office, but it's one of those things that's really necessary. So a lot of astrologers have been talking about this moon in a really negative way. Yeah, you can fear going to the dentist, or you can just deal with it and get that work done and move forward. The work needs to be done. The keynote, overcoming the negative results of social practices and ego cravings, both personally and on the mundane, worldly level, all of us. I eat too much sugar and I got more work to do at the dentist. And in the same way, when we don't manage our, social issues, it's more work to do when we have to deal with them later on. So we got some work to do. That's what this symbol is showing us. Here are some questions to help us interpret this moon and to give us some meditative points for the future. First, how can you benefit from structure? There's the moon trine Saturn. How can you avoid erratic action caused by confusion? There's Mercury trine Mars and Neptune. How is the energy you're using at odds with the transformation you'd like to experience? Here's Mars opposite Pluto. And how do your material desires oppose your knowledge? How do your ambitions oppose your happiness? Here's Mars square Neptune. So this new moon in Scorpio, November 1st, today at 9 degrees, that's when I'm recording it, is again a trine with Saturn in Pisces, and Pisces is intuitive and emotional and it's fluid. So we're in a watery mode with this particular moon, but there's a lot more here. So here's a picture of our moon and the different things going on. I like to leave these up here for a few seconds for you. So if you want to come back and take a look at the chart, you can certainly do that. Again, we have our new moon and we have the trine you can see at 12 degrees with Saturn. And we also have that Mercury grand trine with Neptune and Mars. And we have the opposition with Pluto and Mars. But there are other things going on in here as well. So let's get a little deeper. Let's dig a little bit deeper. First off, what's Venus and Mars doing? What's going on with Venus and Mars? Well, Venus is an idealistic, adventurous Sagittarius, opposite Jupiter in Gemini. There's tension between your desire for action and the duality in how you communicate. Gemini is a duality sign. That's where Jupiter sits right now. Sagittarius is a place where the centaur shoots the arrow. If you're divided on which road you want to take, consider the healing sextile between Jupiter and Chiron and go in the direction of healing in your Gemini house. Take a look at what's going on in your Gemini house and go for healing. You got bigger healing opportunities there. Mars is at the 29th degree of Cancer and will return here again. This is a story in 3 parts. Part 1 begins now. Actually, it's been ongoing since about the middle of July, but really the intensity of it is starting November 3rd. That's where we have the exact opposition of Mars and Pluto. Then again, it will happen on January 3rd, and again, it will happen on April 26th. So keep these dates in mind because these are likely to mark important points in the story and how it impacts your life. A little bit more about this Mars transit. Again, it goes into 2025. It's a long-term transit in both Cancer, the house where you have Cancer, and your Leo house. And these are the degree points that it's hitting. It hit at 17 degrees of Cancer. It's now at 29 degrees of Cancer. It's going to be moving up to 6 degrees of Leo. Then it's going to back up again and hit 29 degrees of Cancer again. Back on down to 17 degrees of Cancer and go back and whack that old 29-degree point again, where Pluto is over here going, hit me, baby. So Mars in Cancer, September 4th is when it started in the Cancer portion of it until November 3rd. Mars in Leo, November 4th until January 6th. And then back in Cancer, January 6th until April 17th. And then back in Leo. So we're going to go back and forth with Mars in these houses, lighting things up. Beware of the squares. Mars opposite Pluto, again, triggers some inflammatory, deep-seated issues. Venus squares Saturn while opposing Jupiter, reflecting you might have some grandiose desires that need cut back. So the watery structures you built up in your Pisces house are in conflict with your scorpionic desires. Also opposed to your desires are your higher ideals, which you are now reviewing with 2 minds. Sorry about that. You may be spinning your wheels due to confusion or unrealistic views. We've got some wonderful trines to align with, and I'm going to start here and move into the major configurations that I'll cover pretty quickly that are happening now. These major configurations mark this point in time and leave an imprint on it. So as I said, this can have an impact not only just for the next 2 weeks, but for many months to come, up to 6 months to come. These trines include a grand Earth trine with Mercury, Neptune, and Mars that we've already talked about, showing an ease in perhaps confused, angry communication. Or, you know, there's other interpretations here. Neptune isn't always confused. Sometimes Neptune is inspired. Mars isn't always angry. Sometimes it's energetic. And Mercury does reflect how we communicate. That communication can go deep and it can cross the boundaries. So again, remember to breathe, but this isn't always a negative. This could be something that energizes our communication. Depends on how we use it. Again, carry an umbrella, be aware of the weather. You have free will. Jupiter sextile Chiron shows us the way forward. So again, look to your Aries house, look to your Gemini house, and the healing energy of Chiron and Jupiter in sextile. So here we get to our major configurations. We've got 2 kites and a magic rectangle, in addition to that grand trine. Woohoo! Okay, so what is a kite? Well, Kat and I have talked about these before. It looks like a kite. It pulls together 4 or more wanderers, planetes, and their meanings. So it's complicated. It includes both the grand trine, 2 sextiles, and an opposition. The meaning of a kite in general is that it activates a paradox. There's a lot going on, and there's a paradox between the opposition and the positive things that are going on, the trines and sextiles in the chart. So in this particular kite, we've got Pluto at the fulcrum point. It holds the key to metamorphosis in this chart. Imaginative communication, Neptune, Mercury, enhanced by vital energy, Mars. This can give us the ability to access deep resources that can turn the key. But be careful where you dig for those resources, because Pluto can be explosive. And we're talking about Mars, that's a trigger. Here is the second kite formation. Again, a kite is made from a grand trine, 2 sextiles, and an opposition. In this case, the opposition is between Uranus and Mercury, and the grand trine is still with Mars, Neptune, and Mercury. And then we've got the fulcrum point being Uranus here. So Uranus holds the key to change. Imaginative action, Neptune and Mars, enhanced by vital energy and deep or symbolic communication, Mercury, may facilitate a change, Uranus, that turns the key. But be careful what you say, be careful how you communicate, because Uranus can be sudden and unexpected. We may get more than we bargained for, or something we didn't have in mind at all. Finally, here's our magic rectangle. This is made from 6 aspects, 2 sextiles, trines, and oppositions. The meaning is pretty kind of clear here. You got a big red X in the center, which signifies some heavy-duty tension between these 4 planets, Pluto, Mercury, Uranus, and Mars. But then it's all surrounded in blue, in these beautiful blue lines, offering security, masking inner tension. So there may be a whole lot of tension going on in your life and in the world, in your relationships with others, in what you're trying to accomplish. And it's being balanced maybe by a thread, by a hair, but it isn't balanced. Again, it could be masking something that is very difficult to deal with. But this is a magic rectangle, and it is powerful. It shows us a way towards power. So this Scorpio new moon offers you some real opportunities for transformation, magical growth, magical change in many areas of your life. But you have to take action for it. It's something that requires you to use your free will and step up. So do it. Get active. See you on the next moon.